Assalamu alaikum and hello. I'm Azma Shah from Drupak and we are into day 16 of DDCDP. For the first 15 days, we have covered Drupal extensively and we are now in a stage, we have reached the stage where we can have projects built in Drupal. We can build some powerful projects in Drupal following the knowledge we gained during the first 15 days. This is the start of building this project and part 1 of the project we are going to build. It is going to be a Drupal multi-site. What is a multi-site? Multi-site basically is one Drupal installation and multiple website in that one installation. So the example could be Drupal camps website or some events website where each Drupal installation can be divided into multiple websites. We already have Figma designs and the corresponding HTML markup for the website we will be building. Let me give you a brief demo of that also in a while. We will do this project using Drupal group module, and the front end will be done through single directory components, which we already have studied, the UI suite module in Drupal, and Tailwind CSS and DZ UI. So all of these front-end technologies will be used, and majority of the work will be done by the group module. Each group will be a separate website. This is a very interesting project, and if you are new to Drupal, you must watch this series of lectures so that you can grasp how great could be Drupal for such projects. And this project will be live for Drupal camps website in Pakistan, so you can see it live also once it is ready. We also have a few things to do in this projects. I will briefly discuss them. So as I said, it will be one Drupal installation and multiple websites using group module. Users will register to the event website both as normal attendees and as speakers. So registrations will be done against each site within Drupal. So speakers can post their sessions, and if sessions are approved by the committee, they will appear on the event website and speakers will get confirmatory email. So this is normal for any conference websites. Speakers will post these sessions, and if they are accepted, they will be shown on the website, and an email will be sent to the speakers who posted the lectures, the sessions. Also, I will demo how the site looks. So if I go to the browser, I have opened it in the browser. This is actually straight from Figma, and then we have created HTML markup from Figma. So you can take it as Figma to Drupal. So this is going to be the home page of a particular event. The top one is for example, this is Drupal Camp Islamabad 2025. So on this website, each event will have its own page, home page, just like this. We have a hero section, then the days and minutes left for the conference, who the keynote speaker is, then other speakers on this event website. So these are all the speakers, and because this is a multi-site, so we are even showing all the previous camps or conferences on the home page. Then we can have trainings also beside sessions in the conference website. So this will be the Drupal training block on the home page, and if there were any interviews or videos in the past Drupal camps, we are showing them as well in a blog. Then you might have seen sponsors and partners in a conference website, so the logos of all those who are sponsoring the event, then a contact us form and the footer. So this is the home page. That's how the home page of any conference will look like. And if we click on speakers at the top, so these are all the speakers who are going to speak in the conference. and again, and if we click on any of the speakers, so this is the speaker detail page and all the sessions by this user, by this speaker. So if for example this speaker is presenting 2 sessions, so they will appear beneath the speaker profile. We also will have the schedule of the conference. So this is the schedule, and if the conference is of 3 days, so all of them are appearing here, the session and the time and who is presenting them and so on. So this is going to be this schedule of the conference. And news, so any news related to the conference will also appear on its respective page. So these are the news. And also if you go to sponsors, so sponsors also have their own page as well. So this is a really powerful project which we are going to build. It will solidify a lot of Drupal concepts for you, and it will be the basis for any number of multi-sites within the same Drupal installation. So let's start. So a brief intro initially of what we will be building. This is a DrupalCon Vienna website. It has all the pages just like a conference website is. So any links pertaining to this conference and about us or something like this, sustainability pages. So all of these, this is a normal conference website. And similarly, if I go to another version of it, so DrupalCon Atlanta, it was arranged this year. So this conference site also looks almost the same list of speakers, meet the sponsors, plan your trip, but the conference actually is DrupalCon Atlanta. And if I go to the URL, you can see this is the URL and then the pages. So this is actually the conference differentiator, you can say. And if I go to the Vienna conference, so you can see it is the same URL, but then it is Vienna and then the pages. So my feeling is that this conference website is also made in something which we will be using, the group module or maybe organic groups, and we will be building something very similar which will be used for primarily for Drupal camps in Pakistan, but any Drupal event we will be able to host on that particular website, and each conference actually will be a group. So we will just create a new group of a particular type, and that's it, the conference site will be ready. It's a very powerful module, and those who have not yet gone through the last lecture we had on groups module, so this is the URL for that on YouTube. They must watch this also. It has all the basics of Drupal group module. We are not going to delve into any of the basics in this lecture because it will be all practical, and we'll be building the conference website from scratch. But if you want to dive deep into how Drupal group module functions, so this day 15 is very, very important for you. You must go through this lecture. So the website we are building, we already have a mock-up turned into HTML, so we can go through it. This is going to be the conference logo, then some information about the conference, some background image, and then when will this conference start, also who the keynote speaker will be for the conference. This is very normal for any conference websites, and this one which we will be building, it won't be any exception. So some information about who the keynote speaker is, then who the speakers are, so all of the speakers on the page, and if we have any, and by the way, we have been arranging Drupal camps in Pakistan previously as well, so any previous camps we'll have a portion on the home page, and then we also have a place for trainings. Normally in camps or in Drupal cons there is a day for reserved for training also, which is different from the sessions. So we will have a place for Drupal training also. And then if there were any interviews of some visitors in the camps, this one, by the way, these videos I recorded during DrupalCon Asia in 2016 in Mumbai, but these are just example ones. We can have a place for the videos or some interviews as well. Then the sponsors, this again is very much typical of any conference website. There's speakers, and speakers also can have separate tiers, sponsors, sorry. So these are the sponsor logos. Then in the bottom we will have a contact us or send message form. So this is also something which we will be building. Okay, before this I would like to build the structure. We already have one here, but let us start from scratch of all the tables we want to have for the structure of the site. So this is basically I'm eyeing or I'm planning for a normalized database structure, and let us forget for a while that we will be building it in Drupal. Let us have a structure which is which can be used for any conference website in any technology, even custom PHP or any other frameworks, and then we will be transforming those into that design into Drupal structure. And this is the most important of all the steps I consider building this application. So let's start. In normal or any typical conference website there is, and by the way this is not going to be a one-off conference website, it will be something like Eventbrite. So any number of conference websites can be hosted on this one Drupal installation. So we'll start with a table called events or conferences. But if we have conference is a huge event, if you have to use it even for some meetups, you can call it event. So let us name the table event, and we'll create something. So maybe some so event ID, this is going to be the primary key, then title, any description, this may be some small introductory text of the conference, then the date and logo, and maybe venue can be a reference to another table, but here maybe just we need some name. So for example, the first event we create will be something called Drupal Camp Islamabad, and some description of it, then the date and the logo, and the venue will be Hamdard University. Okay, so this is the event table. The next, what should be what else is part of the conference website? We have sessions and speakers. So this is going to be a table for speakers, and but before this, the whole the users will have to log into the site. They need to have a table for users also, and this user will be global to the all the camps or events on the site. So this is normal Drupal user table which comes with a Drupal installed. So UID, user ID, name, username, email, and status, whether he is active or not, and any other fields if you want to we can add in the users table.
Role.
Yes, so we can have roles also, and the user can have multiple roles, but here we are going to have just a general authenticated user for Drupal. But still, as you mentioned, if there are roles, so these are normal the roles table, insert table. So this is RID, role ID, and name. So for example, one is administrator, and two is authenticated user, three is
Anonymous.
content editor or something like this, whatever. And how will we know which user is having which roles? A third table, so we'll call it user roles or user role. So role ID, RID, and user ID. So maybe a user can have 2 or 3 roles. So the same ID, if user 2 has 1 role, similarly user 2 has this role. So what does this mean? User 2 is administrator as well as
content editor also.
content editor. So that's how the roles table will be. So we have so far the event table, the user, the roles, and the user role table. Now we will have to the speakers table or speaker table. So I think it can be rolled out in a one or two ways, but I think a speaker should be updating his profile, and the updating profile will have this they will have to populate this table in order to update the profile. So if a user is a speaker also, what he will do is he will sign into the system, and then he will add his info in the speaker, and also administrator can add it. But for now, let us have a table for it also. So it will be speaker ID, name, biodata, picture, what else?
Social media
links, and so on. But how do we know that? And by the way, it should have UID also. So what does this mean? A user who is logged in, if he fills this, it means this is that user's information, speaker information. So we need to have the author ID here. And by the way, in Drupal this UID is default, we don't need to specify it. So speaker, and then we will have sessions. So sessions, so this is SID, session ID, title, and description. If there are any slides or PowerPoint presentations or something like this, so we can add those also. In that case, we will need to have files. This is for now, just take it as files, okay? So if there is presentations, they can attach those as well. And then
date and time.
Yes, we will do the date and time differently, because normally somebody who is submitting the session, he doesn't know when will it be, his timing of the session will be in the conference. So administrators normally, or the organizers normally, decide when should the session be. So we will leave the time and date here, because we will do that differently. And how will I know who submitted this session? So generally speaking, if we use the UID, simple UID, Drupal uses this. So this is enough. For example, if I have logged in and I have submitted a session, under the hood my UID will be there in the session, and I know this is my session. But there are times when a session is presented by more than one user, more than one speaker actually. In that case, we should have a separate table, and that table will be junction table for, so we'll call it session or user sessions, speaker sessions, speaker session, or session speakers makes more sense, session speaker. Okay, so how many columns we need to have here? Two. Okay, so it should be speaker ID and session ID. Okay, so for example, speaker 2 has session ID of 4, and similarly speaker 3 has session 4. So what does this mean? This session is being presented by how many users, how many speakers? 2 and 3. Okay, so we should have this table also, and this is the session. Is it clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let us add some data to the to the session also. Maybe one title is intro to AI, some description, and then files.ppt, and the user ID is 2. Okay, so this is self-explanatory. Then so session, speaker, session and speaker, these are the tables we need to house data for speakers and sessions. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
The next, what else we need to have sponsors,
Yes.
because so insert table, maybe 2 or 3. So sponsor ID, title, maybe logo, website URL, and so on. Okay,
Yes.
so these are the sponsor, this is the sponsor table. How would we know that this sponsor belongs to this event? Through event ID. But I'm going to do all this differently. That's why I'm on purpose not adding those things. Otherwise we need to have event ID here,
Yes.
everywhere. Okay, so that we can know which event this speaker belongs to, or which event this session belong to, and so on. Clear? So I'm not going to have an event ID here. Otherwise, in normal circumstances, we should have a foreign key of this event table everywhere in the structure. Okay, what else do we need? Sponsors, and then news, for example, news and news. So if there are any conference news, we should have a table for that also. So NID, title, description, any images if it has, and so on. And again, I'm not going to create any event ID foreign key here, because we will be doing it differently. Then
registration.
yes, so
Event registration.
let me go back to that design from Rafiq if we are missing anything. Sponsor, session, speaker, events. So I think we have covered pretty much everything except the event registration. And if I have missed something, we can add those to the diagram as well as the website in future also. Okay, so how will a user register for an event? So this user table, this is registration to the whole site, the user table, this one, which is normal Drupal user. But afterwards we need to have a mechanism to know that a particular user has become part of an event, and that's what event registration is called. We should know that this user who is logged into the site or who has a record on the site already, but now he wants to have he wants to take part in a particular event. Okay, so in normal circumstances what we can do is we can create a registration table.
Yes.
And what we will do, we will have, this is the registration ID, reg ID, then here we will have the user ID
Yes,
who
sir.
wants to be the
Part of this event.
part of the event, and this is the event ID. Okay, and if you want to have extra information, something like this, why do you want to become part of this event? So if this is a question you are asking during registration, so you can make such columns also in this table. So registration ID is the ID the user registered, and even the date, when did he register. Okay,
Yes.
so all of this information you will have to create a table like this. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
This is the paid event.
This is register for the event actually. If there is a button and I want to register for that event, the entry should be made in this table. Okay, so for example, registration ID is 1 and the user ID is 2 and the event ID is 1, which is Drupal camp Islamabad, and I will say through Google, and the date is whatever. So now this means I have become part of the event. I have registered for the event. But in Drupal's context, and I will go back just 2 minutes from the previous lecture for you for something we should recap. So this is a normal groups website, and we have group types of event here. Okay, so what Drupal does is through the groups module, if you go to a database structure for a groups module, so the groups actually are saved in this groups table. So we have so far these groups, and the types have been specified for these groups, and the details of this is this. So class 6, 7, Harvard University, Oxford University, Cambridge University, all of these are groups in this table. But how do we know that a particular user has become, I can zoom it for you, how do we know that a particular user has become part of a group? For example, this is Oxford University, which is its ID is 4. Okay, so how do I know that a user is part of a particular group? And that is through group relationship data, field data. This group relationship is an entity.
Yes.
And this is very much like the registration table we created now. So group relationship field data, if we come here, so any entry in this group relations field data table or group relations table means that we have done something similar like this registration. This registration table is only for users, but here the power of group modules is that any type of content which is associated with a group is part of this group relationship table. Okay, so let me go through the structure of this. So you can see there is UID,
Yes.
GID means group ID, and entity ID, and the entity group type is, the plugin type is I will show you what it is, and the group type is the type of the group. So notice the class group membership, I told you in the previous lecture also that this type means a bundle of the relationship entity. Okay, so the group membership is for users, so here the entity ID means user ID and the plugin ID is group membership. And this one is class group node assignment. If you remember, we had created an assignment. So this is also a bundle of the relationship entity type, and the entity ID here is, what does this mean? It means the node ID.
Node ID, yes sir.
Okay, and so on. So this is very powerful table, and I think it will be hard for you understanding it here, but if you go to this lecture, I have explained this in detail. And if I come to any of the group sites, maybe I need to have group 4, theme 4. Okay, here the university set available content. So in Drupal groups, any group type will have this screen, and we go to it from groups, group types, and this is a type, university is a type, and if I come here and set available content, so we will be on this screen. So by default, the membership, this is group membership, it is by default installed, but we will have to install this set available content for all the content types manually here. So we have done it for news and for basic pages, and if I want to have it for article also, so I will click on the install link.
Yes sir.
So this is basically creating a bundle of the relationship entity. So if I add something to this group for news, so I can even have manage fields here. So this relationship to the group basically can have fields also, and if we need it, we will add those fields too. So my question to you now is, if I want to change this registration data to something like relationship table I just showed you, what else do I need here in the columns? This table I will change it to relationship.
Yes sir.
Focus on this table right now, okay? I will change it to relationship rather than registration. Let me zoom it in. Okay, so right now I am using it just for users, right? But I change it to relationship, and here I will add a new column. Maybe 2. Okay, I will call it entity
ID.
type. Okay, and let us make this one entity ID. Okay, so in Drupal sense, or here, what should be the entity type of this?
The user.
Well done, it will be user.
Yes sir.
Okay, and if there is a bundle, I will leave, so user does not have a bundle at the moment, so I will leave it empty. Okay, but if this now I want to add speaker to it or session to it. Okay,
Yes sir.
what I will do, this is a question.
Yes sir.
This will be registration ID will be 2,
2.
relationship ID will be 2,
Yes, sir.
entity ID will be, so if
The session
exactly,
ID
so if
or
the session ID is 1
Yes.
for introduction to AI, so what it
here
will be?
1.
It will be 1.
1.
So the entity ID will be 1,
1.
event ID is
Event
1.
ID is 1. Yes.
1, because this belongs to
Yes,
that
sir,
particular.
specific event.
And
Question.
this can be any question,
Yes.
so I will leave it alone here, but that's the power of it. That's the power of it. We will remove it from here. It is per bundle. It is
Yes sir.
per bundle. I will show you what I mean, but let us leave it here for now. Okay, the date it was added. The entity type is
Session.
node,
Yes sir. No.
and the bundle should be session.
Session. Yes sir.
The bundle should be session. Why I am
Leave
not
it,
able
sir.
to? Okay.
Only write N to delete.
Session. Okay. Now,
I have a question on that.
yes.
So there can be a lot of nodes, entity types. Let's say we have 3 entity types, right? Three different ones. So they can have entity ID, same entity ID. So wouldn't there be a conflict?
No, that is being made unique through these
Entity
bundles.
Entity types.
So for example, now I have to enter as speaker. Okay, where is speaker? This one. Let us add a speaker. One is Jamal, biodata and picture and whatever links, and the UID is 2, for example. So now I want to make this speaker part of a particular event. So what I will do, I will just create a new entry for it in the relationship table,
Yes.
which is 3. Entity ID here is what it will be 1.
1.
Is 1, and the event ID again is 1.
One.
And by the way, this is group ID actually.
Yes, sir.
We will call it group ID in Drupal. Okay.
GID, yes.
And then this is not going to be here, and the date, whatever is the date, and then what will be the entity type? Node.
Node.
And what will be the bundle?
Speaker.
So this means that this row is now unique to this particular user, and all of this is happening in one relationship. And why are entities called fieldable in Drupal? For something like this, rather than adding a column to the same table, and these become redundant for these two types. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Because this is a question just for a membership type, not for the nodes, right? So we don't need this column to be here. That's why the relationship entity by itself is fieldable. Okay, so now my question to you is, if it is fieldable, how can we create this? Why do you want to become part of this event? Where should we create this field?
In the group.
As a separate table, and in Drupal it can be created. If I go to group types, this is the university, manage fields, groups, group types, university, and if we go to set available content, the relationship entity is dealt by this screen, as I said before. So we have the membership is by default, the rest we add here. So here in our case, if we design our system, so this will be sessions and speakers, and this is the group membership, which is by default
Yes.
with any group type. So here we will go to manage fields, and we will create a new field, maybe a text field. How did you come to know about us, right?
Yes, sir.
And it will be a text plain field. Now if any membership to the site, membership means adding a user to the site. So if you go to any university, for example Oxford University, members, and if I now try to add a member, so you can see there this field exists. It technically is creating this field, this field for the user entity,
Yes, sir.
user membership type. Okay, so we have offloaded this relationship table and added it here. So if I add a user, for example Aman or Jawad or Afaq, through Google, how would I know that this table has this data has been saved to the user to the database? So if you know it well that if I refresh
Membership.
now, a field technically creates a separate table in Drupal, and that field is that group relationship, this one, group group field intro logo. I think this is the name of that. Yes, so this is that table which it has created, and the entity ID 23 means the relationship ID,
Yes, sir.
and this is that information saved in the table. So I hope this structure is clear. All the load in Drupal group module basically relies on this relationship table. Okay, and we will remove this, and here we will create a separate relationship membership, or whatever we can call it. So it will have any information. My question to you is, how can I make this one now, this column disappear from here and move the data here? I just showed it in PHP MyAdmin. So what it will be, we'll create a table for it. So what will this ID be?
Bundle ID.
This relationship ID. So 1 is the ID of this relationship. Okay, and then we will have ID, relationship ID. So RID, we can call it RID, and this will be
Why do you want to?
Yes, what do you want to, whatever. So RID means
Relationship ID.
relationship ID. So 1, and here the answer will be through Google. That's it. And we will remove this column altogether. Clear?
Yes.
Okay, so from this structure we know that this answer belongs to this relationship ID, which is a entity type user or membership. And here the same thing is happening. This is that record. Entity ID is for the relationship 23, and the answer is Google. Clear? And the bundle is this. This is the bundle actually now.
Yes,
The relationship bundle. Is this clear?
Yes.
So we can make this also part of the table. So here we can call it bundle or whatever. So this is the membership bundle. This one, for example, user
Group
membership, or if you make it membership also, so user membership. Is this clear?
Yes.
Now I think we have enough of the design, and let us just give it a one more minute to it. We have event. So the event can be anything of these fields. Then the user, this is normal Drupal. The roles, user roles, all of this is native to Drupal. Then we have the speaker. So speakers have name, biodata, and picture, sessions. Then the session speaker. Why is this table here? Because a speaker, more than one speaker can be giving a session. That's why we have created a junction table for speakers. Then the sponsors, news, and then the relationship table. Why have we created the relationship table? Because Drupal group module also creates relationship table. And now if this is just for normal applications, we will transform this into Drupal. So how can we transform it to Drupal? This is very important. You should know, as a Drupal developer, any structure in your mind, you should be able to transform it into Drupal. So here, what is event? We will create a group entity type, and the bundle should be what? The bundle should be event. So it actually is group module. We will create a bundle which is event. Okay. Then the user, this is people, and this is by default. You will see the user table. Roles, this is default. User role, it is also default. You don't need to create these two. Then the speaker, it will be entity type is node, and bundle is speaker. Similarly, session, entity type is node, and bundle is session. And then the session speaker table we don't need, because normal entity reference creates this thing for us. Then the sponsors, will also be what? Content type. Entity type is
the relationship between the session and speaker is many to me.
Yes. So entity type is node and bundle is sponsors, sponsor or whatever.
Yes, it's sponsor.
And the news the same. Entity type is
node.
node and bundle is
Yes, sir.
news. Okay, the relationships, these relationship types, they are plugins, they are called plugins actually.
Yes, sir.
As I said, each relationship to the relationship table is a bundle. So if we add, for example, speaker, so it should be called something like relationship speaker or something. It automatically does it, so we don't need to know about it. But this relationship type, it will be something like, and let me add it here, a new column for we'll call it plugin. I will show you why it is called plugin. So this one should be called node session something, node relationship session, node relationship speaker, and so on.
Yes, sir.
If you go to the diagram, the table for relationship, field data. So here you can see plugin ID. So each type of relationship actually is something. So if it is a user, it is called group relation membership. If it is node assignment, so it is assignment. If it is news, it will be group node news. If it is sponsor, so it will be group node sponsor, and so on. Clear?
Yes.
So we will see how that behaves. But for now, I think we have the structure to go, and after the break we will start building all this structure in Drupal. Welcome after the break. So we have discussed the database structure. Now we will be replicating that into Drupal structure, and we have a brand new Drupal installation. We can do it in Drupal CMS also, but for this website we will do it in Drupal core. And this is just plain Drupal installation, and we are on the admin screen, and we can go to the home page also. And this is just bare bone Drupal. So we'll build upon this installation, and what we are going to cover, we have this design ready for Drupal camp website. It's in Tailwind and Daisy UI, so we will be using those. We can start with the theme, but with this project we will first create the structure, and once the structure is ready, we will change, we will theme it into something like this. And the structure is ready. We have the document, this one. So event is a group type, and we will start with installing group module, and group module is used for websites like these, multi-sites or microsites. These are called one website, one Drupal website, and then sub-sites within it. And it is a very powerful module, and as I said in the previous lecture as well, which is open here, you can go through all of this to know how the basics of Drupal group module work. So it can be used for classes on a school website, and multi-tier subscription, content access, sub-communities, conference management. So this is one of the use cases of group module which we will be doing in this demo. So the first thing is we need to have group module installed, and right now this is the start of the website. We have nothing on installed. This is going to be the first module we are going to install. So ddef group, and now we will enable the group module has been installed. And if we refresh the page now, so we have the groups ready. This is groups. So what is going to be the first step?
Create a group type.
We will first create the group type, and the group type is going to be,
Event.
we can call it event or conference. So if we are going to use it for camps, we can even call it camps, but event is a very generic kind of word, so we can use this website for all kinds of events, so let us call it event also. And each Drupal camp will be an event. So if it is in Islamabad, that will be one entity of this group type. If it is in Lahore, so that will be another entity of this type. So we'll call it, we will create the group types, and in the group types we will have event. And in the group settings, the title of the event is going to be title. This, the group creator automatically becomes a member. What does this mean? So if an admin creates a group, or any user, so he will automatically become a member of that group. Group creator must complete their membership, so I think admin will do it, so we don't need this checkbox. And I think we can have default roles, so let us add the default roles, and automatically assign this administrator role to the group creator. So the
Yes.
admin will be group creator, so we should assign that role. Okay. Global administrator settings, we have written that your site has an all access global role called administrator. This is default Drupal. So automatically allow accounts with the role to manage all groups of this type they are not member of. And I think because each site has a powerful administrator, so we can leave both of these checked as well. And we have created the event group type. What's the next step?
Create a group.
So before creating any group, we need to go to the structure we have. So the title is by default there, description, so we need to have a description field, the date, when should the conference be, the logo, and any venue.
Yes.
So we need to create these fields, and
Yes.
group is an entity type, so and fieldable as well, so we can create those fields here. So manage fields, create new field. We will first create the detail or intro, we call it intro, the event introduction, right? Text format long, and continue and save. Okay, so intro, then the dates,
The date.
so date and time, date,
We can use date range.
yes, so I think timestamp is also, date is fine. Then we can have date and time. So time is important because if conference starts 9 a.m. and it goes for 3 days and it ends at 5 p.m., so we can give both of those dates and save. So the date is now there. What else? You can have logo and venue, okay, and you can have location also. So create new field, and the venue, for now we can leave the venue as text field, but it can be a taxonomic as well. So venue, or let us make it a taxonomy, okay, open-ended taxonomy. So how can we do it? We can go to structure, taxonomy,
Yes.
add vocabulary, and we will make it venue, and then we can add terms. How can we make a tags field, so that rather than adding terms here, we can use that field? So if we go to the group types we have, which is event, here we can have taxonomy field now, reference, and it's going to be taxonomy, and should be venue, save, and the manage form display should be autocomplete, yes, or tag style is fine as well, autocomplete is too, save. And what else we can have? We should have rather logo.
Yes.
So I think we have not enabled
The
the media module for now, so let us
Next
enable media
Library.
and media library, and then we should have a manage field logo of the
Particular event.
yes, so it should be logo image and save. So we have almost, it all depends upon you what the requirements of the, but these are enough for us for now, right?
Yes.
Okay, the next step is we should go to the diagram again, and this is the event which is now ready. I will change the color of it to red each time we do something, right? So this is red, it means we have done it. Okay, the next is people. Do we need to create this table or content type or something?
No, sir.
Because it comes by default in Drupal, so we can make it red as well. Do we need roles?
No, sir.
Because these are also by default in Drupal, and we don't need this table even still, because this is also by default in Drupal. It comes in Drupal. So we have done the 4 things already. Then we have the speaker content type,
Yes.
entity type. So for speaker, what we need is name, which is title, biodata, picture, links, and UID. Okay. So do you think this is something we have? No. So we will create the speaker content type now.
Yes.
Structure, content types, add content type, and we call it speaker. And what the title should be? Name. Publishing options, promote to front page, create new revisions for now. These are normal Drupal stuff, and save. So title is by default, I mean now the name will be default. What else we can have?
Bio.
So bio,
Formatted text.
biodata. If you have to reuse a particular field, so we can make it biodata or bio, but the machine name can be anything like long underscore text. So if I have to reuse this field again in some content type, I will just choose this and I can have a different label.
Yes, sir.
So if I name it field underscore bio, if I have to reuse it for something like description, then that doesn't make sense. So is it okay if you name your machine names like this,
Yes.
but the labels can be different? Continue. Save. So we have bio, then I forget the fields we have. So biodata, then picture, links, and it is going to be a media. Similarly, we can make it media image.
Yes.
So the machine name will be media image, but we can now make it what? Picture,
Picture.
and here it will be
Medium.
media underscore image. So if I have to reuse it, the machine name will remain media image, but we can have different
Yes, sir. Labels.
labels. Save. Okay, what else we need? So picture, links, these are social media
Social media links.
links. For this we will create a links field, link field, and we'll call it social media links or social media profile links. Okay, but the machine name here we will make it links again. Maybe we need to
Yes.
use it for some other stuff as well. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
This workflow is better, I think. What should be? It should be
Unlimited,
unlimited
yes,
because maybe there are more than one links he has to enter. So bio, picture, and social media profile links. What else we can have?
UID.
This is going to be speaker. Okay. UID, because it by default there is an author field, UID field, so we don't need this. We don't need this UID because in Drupal for any content type there is a UID field which is the author field, and by default that comes in this. One thing maybe if a speaker is Keynote speaker,
Yes, sir.
so we can have a checkbox for Keynote, right? So we can create a field and it should be Boolean. This is Boolean field, and we can make it Keynote speaker. So if this user is going to be a Keynote speaker, and again we can edit it and we will make it Boolean, field underscore Boolean, if I have to reuse it somewhere else. Okay, continue, on and off label, and save. So if this person is a Keynote speaker, we can just check this. And how does it look? I will go to add content, speaker, and it is name, bio, picture, social media links, and Keynote speaker. So if he is going to be a Keynote speaker, we can just check this. This is clear? So this content type is more or less ready. If we have to define any other fields, we can come back and we can create those fields later on as well. Okay, the next is if you go again to this, and this is session. One content type is ready, the speaker is ready. Now we are going to have the session content type, and this is the entity type is node and the bundle is going to be session. So we are going to create this again, structure, content types, add content type, and we'll call it session. This is normal Drupal stuff. We will, and the session title is, we can call it session title. Is this clear?
Yes.
Now we need to create, so you will understand why I named the machine names of the fields there. So if I go to reuse existing field, we have a long text, this.
Yes,
so we
sir.
can now reuse this, but reuse this as a description or detail. We can call it detail, but the machine name of the field will remain the
Yes,
same.
sir.
So we have reused actually the same field in this content type. You can see the label is detail, but the field long text is the machine name. Then we have files. So for files again we can have a media.
Reuse an existing field.
That is for just image, so we can have media, we call it files, and maybe field and files is fine. And for this we will need just the document and save settings. Clear? Do we need the UID field?
No, sir.
Why?
Already.
Because this is native to Drupal. Okay, what else do we need? Maybe if you remember, we created this table also, speaker session.
Yes,
Why did we create it?
for the
Junction table, so that if a session is being presented by two speakers,
Yes, sir.
we should have this, and by default in the initial classes for Drupal I have taught you what does an entity reference field mean. It
Yes, sir.
by default creates a junction table.
Junction table, yes.
So any entity reference field, actually, in fact any field, field UI field, but specifically entity reference fields, they create a separate junction table in Drupal. So we need a junction table, and that is going to be reuse an existing field, or sorry, create a new field.
Create a new field.
It is going to be a reference,
Yes.
and it will be
Speaker.
content. We will call it select speaker. Okay, or maybe we can just call it field underscore speakers, like this.
Payments.
Clear?
Yes.
So which content type should it, and it should be unlimited, so that
Yes,
more
sir.
than one,
Speaker.
and it should refer the speaker content type. So essentially what we have done with just this field, we have created a junction table.
Junction table.
Remember this rule in Drupal, any reference field
Will
creates a junction table actually. So if you ever need a junction table in your database design, what will you do in Drupal?
Reference.
You will create a field or a reference field, to be precise. So this is now that junction table in your. So I think the design now, the database design for speakers and session both is now ready. Let us have a look at it one more time. So we have title, description, files, and the junction table. So it's ready, I think. So if you go to content, as a habit, just check how your form will look like. So if I go to session, so title, detail, file, and speakers, here you will have to select any speaker, and then
Yes,
you can add more than one. So this is more or less ready as well. The next is
News.
it's going to be, I think it's sponsors.
Yes.
So each conference or event is normally sponsored by some companies. So we can create a sponsor content type, and the bundle will be sponsored. The entity type will be node. So it should have title, logo, and website URL.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes.
I think these three are for now okay. So we will go on and create structure, content types, add content type, and we'll call it sponsor. And as a habit, just uncheck these things for now. We don't need revisions probably, so for now we don't need it. And then reuse existing field, we can reuse the logo field. What was it? Media image, in fact, this one, and we'll call it logo. Also we can reuse the social links. So
Yes,
if
sir.
you remember, we called it links rather than social links, and we will rename the label to
Website URL.
website URL or URLs, whatever. And then we can even have some intro. So if you give the intro, what it was called, text,
Bio. For
field long text. So detail or intro, sponsor details, something like this, right?
Yes.
So we have three fields now, and what else do we need?
Then we are
Logo,
good to go.
website URL tag. I think everything is ready. Now just check how your form looks. You will go to add content and sponsor. It will be title, sponsor details, logo, and website URL. And in fact, you can, if they want to add extra links, so they can give those links as well. Is this clear?
Yes.
Yes.
So now the sponsor has also been created. The next is news. So any conference or event can have some news or some information associated. So we can create a news content type, or maybe some we can call it information also, if something is not a news but just some information. So that can, rather just news is fine for now. So we'll create a new content type, news, and save. So title is there by default, and we need to have detail field, and for detail field we already have
Formatted logo.
text formatted, and we'll call it detail and save. And then we can have images also, so we can reuse the media image, but I think okay, this should be unlimited, so we can add extra images with the news also. Clear?
Yes.
So this is also done. And if we want to categorize news, what we can do?
Taxonomy.
Taxonomy. So for example, we can create a taxonomy and link it here, but for now this is enough. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay, after the news we had this relationship table, if you remember,
Yes.
these ones.
Yes.
So why do we need it, and how do will we achieve these two? Anybody?
Group. Event.
We have to go to the group type and set the available content.
Very good. This membership is by default there.
Yes,
So
sir.
if you go to a particular, if for example if I go to for groups right now, if I add a group and the group is maybe Drupal Camp Atlanta, and then the intro, so we can have some intro of the group, which is an event. Then okay, we are, as I said, it's a very important normally to have to check your forms. How do this? Right now there is no two, we are missing. My bad, actually we needed to install one core module which is date time range, and it has been installed now. I was searching for it in Google, I am sorry for that. So the next step is we will go to the group types and manage fields. So we already have created this date field, so let us delete it first, and then we'll recreate the date and time field. Now we will have an extra option of date range. This is that range, we'll call it date, and we can have an all day option also, but for now I think this is enough, date and time. And similarly if you go to form display now, so we have date and time range, and if just to check how it looks, go to add group, and this is that second field automatically. So this is the start date and
Yes.
this is the end date. One thing, this looks a bit ugly, the revision information should be at the bottom and the URL aliases, so I think we should move them down. What is how to do it?
Manage form display.
Good. So any fieldable entity has a manage form display in it, and we can move the URL alias field to the bottom, and
Publish.
the published info field also, and maybe the revision info. Do we have the revision info?
Yes.
Okay, and save. So if we go to the group, add group, so we have title, intro, venue, logo, and the from and to. So if a conference starts on 9 a.m. of a particular date and ends on 5 p.m. on a another date, so we can now enter those values here. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if I go to, I will just create Drupal Camp Atlanta again. And the intro, then the venue. The venue is Alhambra Hall. Add media, maybe some logo we need to have. So for now I don't need any logo, we'll leave it as it is, and even the date now, because I'm going to try something for you, so even the venue is not needed, and create event and become. So this is the group now, which is Drupal Camp Atlanta, and I want to add nodes to it, maybe the news, sessions, speakers and all. So how can I do it?
Go to the.
I cannot do it right now.
Yes.
I can add members to it. I can add users to it. So if I click on members, so right now admin is the member because admin created this group. So I can click on add member, and if I have other users, I can just select one and add them.
Yes, sir.
But at least I cannot add the
Nodes.
nodes to it. For example, the sessions to it, the news to it, speakers to it. What else we have?
News.
Sponsors.
Sponsors. Yes.
So we cannot add any of those things. Why? Because
we are not installing the module that is article nodes. or
exactly.
Group
So
node.
so what we will do first is we will go to extend, and if I just search for group, there will be the group node module also, this one.
Yes.
The membership for users gets installed automatically within group, but for any other entity types we do need to have something like this installed. So group node and install. The next step is we'll go to groups, group types,
Yes, sir.
and here we will set available content. So as I said in the relationship, this relationship table in Drupal group module, this relationship is an entity, and any content becomes part of it using this step which we are going to do now. So this plugin is actually what we need, which is a bundle actually. So if we come to this, all the node types we have created, one is news, session, speaker and sponsor. These four we need to install. So if we install it, means you create a bundle of relationship entity type. This is very important concept. So if I click on install news and install plugin, similarly session, install plugin, and then we have speaker, install plugin, and if we install sponsor, so install plugin. So these four plugins have been installed now. So each of these plugin actually is a bundle of entity, relationship entity. So if I need something, for example, in the speaker, if I come here, so it's manage fields, you can get to manage fields. So that relationship has now a bundle, and each bundle can be fieldable. So if I need extra information, I can create extra fields here, but I don't need any extra info right now, so I won't create these. The next step is, now if I go to a particular node like group, if I go to Drupal Camp Atlanta, so here you can see nodes now.
Yes.
And this was previously missing because we had not installed the group node module, and also we had not installed the plugins, the relevant plugins. So if I go to nodes now and add new content, so all those four are available now. They actually are, remember, these are not nodes right now. These are
bundles.
plugins. So if I create this is linked to node actually, but it will create an entry in the relationship table also. Two things will happen. If I create a news now, for example, the Drupal Camp Atlanta management committee, and if this is the news, right? And I save it, what will happen? Two things will happen.
It will have entry in the node table and in the membership table.
Exactly, this is what I needed to show you. So let us ddef php my admin,
Spelling mistake. Install the
ddef get
ddef forward slash ddef dash php.
okay, let us first install php my admin, and then we will ddef start,
Okay,
and then we will launch php my admin just to confirm what we are doing. if I go to DB and the relationship, this is the main entity table, and then the field data has the detail in it. So before clicking on it, what do you expect to be part of this table right now? What will be here? I'm not going to open it now.
The news.
We have not yet added the news.
It will have just only the users,
And which user?
the who created the group.
Who created the group? There will be just one entry,
Yes, sir.
and this is that type I was referring you to.
Yes, sir.
Type is group membership, event group membership type. So right now it has just one entry, and what that entry is? Entity ID 1 of user,
Yes, sir.
because and the plugin ID is group membership. This is default Drupal.
Yes, sir.
But now if I add this news, this one,
Yes.
this is that news now. So if it gets added, entry will be made in two tables, two places. Actually the news content type also will be saved like normally, but
The membership
what else
table
will be
also.
there?
The membership table also.
Membership table will have an entry also. This is very important concept for you. So if I save it now, so node also has been created,
Yes, sir.
and if I refresh this membership now, so it will have a second one.
Yes, sir.
And notice the type. What the type
Yes,
is?
sir.
Event group node news.
News.
News type. So you can judge it from sponsors. If I add a sponsor, so what will be the type? Event
So
group
event
node
group
dash
node
sponsors. And also the plugin type is, it will be group underscore node colon
Sponsors.
sponsors.
Yes, sir.
This is very important concept you should know. So again I will refer to this table. Why do we have all this type relationship type concept? Because each of these types are fieldable.
Yes, sir.
Each of these types are fieldable if we want to have extra information. For example, this membership information. If we want to have an extra field, how did you know about us, for example, for this particular type? I want this field, a field
Yes, sir.
for this type. What should I do?
So go to the
We will go to
group type
group types.
and
Here group
set
types,
available content
set available content,
and membership.
and where will we create a field? It will be in the membership. This is that membership one. So here we will go to the manage fields
Manage field
and create a new field. We will call it maybe how did you
and,
come to know about us. For example, we need to know this information from the user who wants to become member of the a particular group,
yes, sir.
and we will make it text plain and continue and save. So this field has been created. Maybe in the form display we will move the URL alias below, maybe the roles also here, and then that's it. Save. So what do you expect now? Before this, let me create a new user, add user, and I will make it afaq at example.com. Username is afaq, password is 123456 123456 and create. So if I go to a group which is Drupal Camp Atlanta, and then I go to members, I add a member. So you can see the user is afaq. I can choose afaq, and now this question can be answered by. So for example, if afaq himself is going to add this form, so he will be able to answer something like through Google or whatever.
Yes.
Got it? And save. So now we have added extra information
Into
to
the membership.
the membership table using that fieldable entity.
Yes, sir.
If I need some extra information while adding a news to the relationship,
Yes.
what we will do?
Go to the group.
We will go to group types,
and news set available.
set
content.
available content.
And the news one.
In the news section, this one,
Yes, sir. And
manage fields. So
manage
here I
field.
will add a field.
Yes, sir.
And similarly, for example, we don't want we want a field here. Let me just, for your understanding, create a new field, and you need information while adding news to the relationship or the group. who reported this news, and it is going to be a user in your system. So how can we do it? Or I will create a reference field. I will call it reporter of this news. Okay,
Yes, sir.
and
News.
we will be referring it to the user entity type and save settings. Okay, now if I have to add
News.
news to the event,
Yes, sir.
we will have this field also.
Yes, sir.
So let us do it. If I go to groups, Atlanta, nodes, I want to add a new
News.
news. So for example, chief guest is CM of Punjab, right? And save. What do you expect the next? If I save it, what do you expect?
The user will.
Hmm?
It will.
The user.
So if I save it, this node has been created. Okay, but if we go to groups and this group nodes, so these are the two entries. View relationship. This is the relationship. What does this mean? And if I edit the relationship, you can see this, here we have the reporter. So I can choose FAQ here and save. So now this information has been added to the relationship field, the relationship entity, rather than the original news. The original news does not have that information here,
Yes, sir.
but the relationship has that information. For some reasons, if this is the structure you need.
Yes.
So right now we added two extra fields to two separate types of, and if we come to the field data, we don't see, we have the relationship now, but the information is not here at the moment. The label is there, the entity label is there, but the fields are not there. So where will be the fields? Just like any entity
Yes, sir.
in
It will
Drupal,
create
it will create a separate table. So these are those two fields. This one, group relationship field, reporter of this news. So this is that field, and the other information is this one, which is how did you come to know about us through Google. So when do we need this field? Whenever in a relationship you need extra information. That's what you want to take away from this lecture. This information, this means that a particular entity type, node or membership or whatever users are added to a group, but if you need extra information, you will have to create fields, and that is done through set available content. So we will move on from here, and if I go to this is what we did so far. In fact, one step ahead also we went. We also created another field for the reporter also,
Yes.
which was for the news content type. Is this clear?
Yes.
So the structurally we have created almost everything, and we now move on, need to move on creating content for the site, creating content for a site as well as reports. So what are reports? Or information from the database. If you want to show in Drupal, what we will have to do? Create views.
Views, yes, sir.
So mostly what we need is, we need to create views now. And I will go to this design again, and let us start from the top. So this is Drupal Camp Islamabad, this, and this is the description. These are two links: register, explore more, and register now. These are two links. So we can create this view exactly like this. How can we do it?
Event.
And this is the image.
Yes, sir. We can have title, description, CTS, and background image.
Okay. One thing we have missed, we can have this background image also added to the group type, because we will need it
Yes, sir.
other than the logo also. This is logo and this is the background image.
Yes, sir.
So do you think we need an extra field?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So we'll go to groups. This is group type, event, and manage fields. So here we will create a new image, and that is going to be media image. What should I call it now? Background image. But in order to make it, we can call it or we can just name it media underscore image underscore 2. So maybe if I need to reuse this in other type, we can just reuse it. Okay, but the name will be the label will be background image, and it will be an image. That's it.
So for example, if we have multiple images, like for different screens, mobile, so we need to edit multiple times.
It's a very good question, and we can use something called this responsive image module, which comes in Drupal core. Okay, we can use it, so it will actually help us achieve what you are talking about. Okay, so this is that extra background image we just added. And if I open it in open image in new tab, this one, and save image as in the downloads hero. Okay, so what's the next step I need to do? I will go to the groups again. This is Atlanta. I will edit it and upload the image. Clear? And if you go to Atlanta now, so that image will be there. But the thing is, we need to, what do we need? We need to create a view now. We need to create this view, this one.
Yes.
Okay. And how will these two buttons work? I mean, how to add these two buttons? This is a question. I need an answer, please.
So we can add a custom global text
In the view
in the view, yes sir.
and create two links.
Two links, yes sir.
But maybe somebody else wants more links. In that case, then I think the best will be to create a paragraph field with CTA group.
Yes sir.
Okay, so a user can then add extra buttons here as well,
Yes.
right? We can do it in views also, but then it will be developer dependent.
Yes,
If
sir.
they need a third button, they will have to ask the developer to create a new button for us.
Correct.
That's not 100% dynamic. So what we can do is we can create a paragraph field in the group type, and then so it's good time to reintroduce Drupal paragraph module. Those of you who are new to this paragraph module, we have already a lecture on paragraphs, so you can go through that in the DDCDB training series. And we will enable
Yeah.
so paragraphs has been installed. What's next?
Create a type. Paragraph type.
We will create a paragraph type. And by the way, if we need other paragraph types, this is good that we already have now installed the paragraphs, and as we need other stuff we will then create, but for now let us create a paragraph type of CTA.
CTA group.
CTA group.
Yes.
And then CTA group will have a reference to another paragraph
Yes,
type,
sir.
so let's create that as well, which is
CTA.
CTA. Just CTA is fine.
Yes, sir.
This one, right?
Yes, sir. Got it.
And it will have a field for link.
Link field.
So field underscore link should be the name, or URL is fine also. So field underscore link and save. So this is one CTA, and now we will refer structure, paragraph types. This is manage fields of the CTA group, and here we will create a new field. We'll call it paragraphs, and normally we call it content. Any content can go inside it.
Yes.
So better to name it content, and which type it will have to refer, just CTA, and save. So now we have created a structure. So if I go to structure, content types, group types, and here we need to have manage fields for paragraph, and again we will call it paragraph, and we will call it content. So any content can go here, content,
Yes.
and here you will choose CTA group.
Yes, sir.
That's it. So if I come to the already added group now, this one is that group. So we will have edit it. So you can see this is now the paragraph field, add CTA group, and in the CTA group we can add two buttons, and those are explore more and register now.
Yes, sir.
So the first one is, for now we will make it dummy ones, node/2 register
Explore
now,
more.
and another one will be which one?
It's not slave. Explore more.
Explore more. So these two links, and now even a third link can be added if ever. So we have created a powerful system, and I will save it. So you can see now these two links are here. Ignore the labels, ignore the links for now, but we have the structure. By the way, I just forgot to mention, the design is already ready, and by the end of all this exercise, once we have created the views as well as we have created the whole structure we already have created, we'll then create the design. So for now, just ignore if it is not 100% like here, but the design actually is almost ready. The structure of is ready. So now if I create a view, what do you expect?
Yes, sir.
This is title of the group, this is description, and then these two buttons.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
and then the background image. So
Yes.
if I need to create a view like this, what I will do?
Go to structure.
Structure and views, add new view, and we'll call it hero. And what should I select? Group. Well done. Of type event. And I will create a block, and it should be just one. Okay,
Yes.
because we just need one record. So this is Drupal Camp Atlanta. What else we need?
So, description.
Description or detail, what it is.
Long text.
Bio. Okay, there it is, bio. No,
No.
intro. Okay, in group we have called it intro. Okay,
Yes.
and we just need a little of intro. So in the rewrite results, trim this field to a maximum characters of maybe 300 characters. And we also need the background image. And what else? We need the paragraph buttons also.
Yes, sir.
So it's content, this one, and the render entity means render both the fields. So you can see we have both the links also, and save. So this is the title, this is the description, this is the hero image, and by the way the image should be thumbnail, and that's it, and save. We will do the styling once we have created the single directory components for it, and reuse. We will come back to this view later on, but the view content is, this content is ready, kind of ready. Okay, now if I need just the dates of this, how can I do it?
Block, sir.
We will create another view, and this will be for this date only. Okay, so structure, views, add new view, conference, date, and it will be group of type event. We'll create a block, and it again will be one record, because okay, so what do we need? Do we need title? No, we just need the date of the conference. For now I'll just choose the default. I think we have not yet added date, but and I will have to add the date again for one more reason. I will show you why, and save. So I have added dates 2 times, and if I come to the groups now and I edit the group, we have left this empty, so I will just choose a date, for example 4th, and the time is 9 a.m. Nine to 7:06, and then it will be 5 p.m. right? I think we should do it in right. So the day, conference will start on 4th, and it will be 3 days, so maybe to 6, like this.
Yes.
4, 5, 6. Is this clear?
Yes.
And save. And if I refresh the page here, update the preview, so Wednesday 4 June this to 6 June 5 p.m.
Yes.
Clear? But we can format these dates also. We can create custom dates. Then there used to be such modules, timer, Drupal, or something like this. Field timer. I think these are old ones. Time clock. Countdown or something like this. Count down Drupal. Okay, so adds the block title countdown to count the days as since until given. Communicate to just show there. Field timer, countdown clock. I think this one looks a good one. Engage a countdown clock. View countdown Drupal. This one looks a good one too, but it is only for Drupal 10. I'll try to find a better countdown timer module. Maybe there is this one, so we will then use it in the second view we have created.
Okay, sir.
It will be just the matter of choosing the, what do you think,
What kind of?
the formatter for this module, and it will show up in the
Yes, sir.
timer
Timer.
column. Let me just give one more jQuery timer Drupal. And it also does not have the 11 version, but we'll search a module for this. Okay,
Okay.
so you get the idea. We have the view ready now for the second information also, this one, but we'll style it once we are into styling section. Okay, the keynote speaker information. So for a conference we need to have a speaker who is a keynote speaker, right? Normally conferences have a speaker who is keynote speaker. So how to add a keynote speaker? It's very easy. In the structure, if the admin is controlling the site, so what we can do is we can go to content, add content. What we will add? A speaker, and the name of the speaker is, let us take it from here.
Do we have multiple keynote speakers?
Yeah, we can have, but here in the design they have just one, so maybe we can have one for now, and maybe Mr. John, then the biodata and the picture, so you can get the picture from here. And then also these three things. So add a picture, how to make him a keynote speaker. This checkbox.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this checkbox was created only for the reason that, and also the social media link, so maybe some LinkedIn profile and so on, right? We can add other stuff also, maybe his Facebook profile, and so on. So the content for the keynote speaker is ready. Now what we need to have?
Create a view.
View. We need to have a view
And this one.
which we
Keynote
can
speaker.
show here automatically. Okay,
Yes.
so how to add it? My question to you is how to add this keynote speaker now to the conference. Right now we have just added the,
So go to the group member.
we have added this
Yes, sir.
only to
So open that
list,
group
then this, and nodes,
node and
add new,
the
add existing content, and
yes.
here we have added the
The
speaker, and the title is
Mr. John.
Mr. John. Here we have,
Yes, sir.
and save. So we have added Mr. John to the group now, and we could have done this like this also. If you go to the conference nodes, add new content
content,
and
yes.
speaker, so we could have done it this way also,
Yes.
but we adopted the other route. So first we added the speaker, and then, but both ways the conference is the speaker has been added. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
So the next step is to create a view.
Yes.
And one thing we have forgotten, one main important thing in the views we have created, we have not introduced groups, the group relationships
Yes.
in the views. That is what we need to do in this view, which we are going to create now, as well as the previous ones. So let us start with the view, and we will call it keynote, or we can call it speakers for now, and then we will have a keynote speaker. So a block of type, which one?
Group one.
No, it should be content of type speakers. Right, create a speaker block, and this is a block which is, so we will call it keynote speaker, and the title is this, and then the intro or bio detail, and we will make it trimmed also to 300 characters. Okay, so John, and this, what else from the design we need? Then the social links, image also, sorry, but where is the view? Okay, so we need picture also. Ready? This is picture, and we will make it thumbnail. And then the social links. So this is LinkedIn and Facebook. For now, these are enough. And how to know, this will now fetch any speaker. So how to make it fetch only the keynote speaker?
The checkbox has been clicked.
Yeah, so what, where will add it?
Filter. Checkbox.
Keynote speaker is equal to true if they have checked it. Clear? So now always this one will show the, but there is still some no relevance to the group in the context or anything. This will always show on the site.
Yes.
So how can we make it, how can we contextualize this view? First we will have to create a relationship to the relationship, group relationship from content. And is this related to speaker, right?
Yes.
So we can choose this, otherwise we can go for all of these. So the relationship is speaker. The next is we need to reach the group itself. So we can access group now, group relationship, this one, and we now have accessed the group. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have access to group. Now this will be on a page, on the home page of the group for now. So what we can do, contextual filter should be ID of the group. Is group this one, and apply. For now, and you can see the relationship automatically has been selected. Provide default value, and we will make it group ID from the URL and apply. So if the group ID is 1, do you expect if I refresh the page it will show its keynote speaker?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it does, right?
Yes.
And save. So it means the view is now working fine.
Yes.
If we show it on a group page, it will read the contextual filter from the URL and it will show the, and if you remember we have that other module also which we will use, so that the URL prefix will be used to fetch the ID. But let me first update the views we already have created where we have missed this,
Yes, sir.
these things.
Relationship.
And those are the hero image, if you remember, this one. And we'll first create, because this is generic content view.
Yes, sir.
so it will show up always. So we need to have a relationship to
Relationship.
group relationship, and it should be, sorry, this is by no means we are not going to have any relationship because we are already on the group page. We don't need relationship. What we need, we just need
Contextual filter.
contextual filter, id for default value, and for now we will choose group id from the URL, and that's it. So nothing shows up, but if I choose one, so it will now show the group. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay, so which view we had created other than this hero one?
Timer.
The last one. Speaker.
Speaker has been done, and then we had a timer one also.
Timer one also.
So conference date.
Yes.
So we'll need to have a contextual filter for this as well. And default value, take group ID from the URL and apply. And now if I check one, it is this.
Yes.
These are the conference dates. See, is this clear?
Yes.
So now if this block is placed on any group, contextually it will filter the data. Okay, so we have done three things. We have created the hero, we have created this block, we have created the keynote speaker block, and now expert speakers. So these are all the speakers who will be in this camp, and these are the previous ones. So we will move on with creating this one. But before this, to check what we have so far done, we can create another one, another camp. So how can we create another camp? So we'll go to groups,
Yes.
add group, and we'll call it Drupal camp Islamabad. Okay, and I think we should have a logo from it. It is this one. Okay, so this is going to be the intro. Then the venue can be, we can create a venue here first, but we'll add it later, and let us upload the logo. TCISB, and then the dates, so some date, let us make it 2026. So it will be 9 0 0 and AM, and if it lasts for 3 days, so it will be should be 05 okay. And background image, for background image, maybe I think we should have the same background image for it, this one, and we will add a different one for Atlanta. And then the CTA links, so explore more and register now. The same links we need to have for these also. So register now, and explore more. And save. Okay, let us go to the Atlanta group, and maybe we need to edit the image, because so some BG image. So let it be the PG image for Atlanta. Okay, so how to test if that hero view is working fine for us? If you go to views, hero, edit, so if I specify 1, so the background image is this with the register links, right? And the Drupal camp Atlanta. But if it is 2 is Islamabad. So Drupal camp Islamabad and the respective image. So the views are working fine. Any questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay, one more thing, we have not added speakers, the keynote speaker so far in Islamabad, as well as we have not added the timer. So I think we have added the time. Yes, the time is there, so the view will be there automatically. And the logo is also there. What do we need? We just need to add what? Keynote speaker. And we can create new content and speaker, and here keynote speaker is Afaq Khan, and this is going to be his biodata, then some picture. For now let us add some picture. So black and white picture of office workers. Maybe good, but where is Afaq? I think this one is good. So we'll upload and maybe some social media links also, LinkedIn profile, and he's going to be a keynote speaker too, and save. So we have added the information. How to test if, so we have added Afaq, and if we, how to test it if the contextual links are working for keynote speaker. So we will go to the keynote view. I think it's in the, and here if we check 1, so it will be Mr. John, who is the keynote speaker for group 1, and if we check it with 2, so the keynote speaker is Afaq. So this view also is working fine. Contextually, whatever is the ID of the group, accordingly the keynote speaker will be shown.